welcome back to another Wind Down Wednesday. Welcome back to my home. So tonight I want to talk to you about hope. Yeah, we all need a little bit of hope. Actually, we all need a lot of hope right now because we're going through this challenging time in our history, not just the United States, but the entire world. And I don't know about you, but every day I kind of wonder, like, how am I going to come through this in the end? Right now my focus is on staying healthy and safe and being the best friend and the best daughter I can be to everybody that I care and love right now. And by the end of the day, I'm like, Janelle, what are you going to do to support yourself when this is all over? And like all the millions of questions we all have. So I've been trying to diversify myself a little bit and keep myself busy. But you know what? It's still a scary world out there. So I wanted to tell you a little story about a personal story about myself that I think will inspire you to keep an open mind about the road that is ahead. Okay, so when I first moved to the United States, my whole world of what I thought I was moving to blew up. You know, I came here to be with a guy, and of course, by the time my green card was in my hot little hand, the guy was no longer around. And so I had one friend who lived in LA, and she suggested, that's the only person I knew in all the United States, except for the ex-guy, suggested I come and surf on her couch surf for a while and see what happens. So I packed up my bags, I arrived at her doorstep with 2 boxes and a bag, and that was over 20 years ago. Okay, so now I've got no car, right? I have no job. I've been a teacher in Canada, so I was applying to get my credentials to teach in the United States. And it was a process. I mean, everything was a process. It was a process to get a social security card. Everything was a flippin' process. So I'm walking everywhere. I'm just enjoying the California sunshine. And after a couple of months, my friend said to me, so, you're still on the sofa. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? So she said, look, one of my friends, he has an auto body shop and he's looking for someone to work the front desk. And, I told him about you. And I looked at her and I said, me? In an auto body shop? Are you kidding me? And she goes, well, you'll never know who you're going to meet. And what else you got to do? So I thought, you know what? Suck it up. So I called my dad and I said, guess what I'm going to be doing? I got a job in an auto body shop. I don't think I've ever heard my father laugh so much in his life. I could literally see him peeing on the other end into a cup, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so I took this little job. I paid $10 an hour cash under the table. I didn't have a car, and so I walked 2.5 miles to the auto body shop each way every day. And I at this point didn't even know how to pop my own trunk, my own hood of my own car, and I still have problems with that. But I had to learn all that stuff and then check people in and mark down the notes from the accident and yada yada yada. And you know what? It was a mindless job. I was the only non-Hispanic person working there. So sooner than I knew, I started to learn a little bit of Spanish. And, it was really kind of fun. I was kind of liking it. And, it gave me a little bit of cash. Anyway, one day this gentleman came in and he had been in a couple times while his car was being repaired. And he's sitting there and he's looking at me and he's like, I just have to tell you something. Every time I come in here to, deal with the car issue, you're always so pleasant and nice and I just really like dealing with you, but don't take this the wrong way. But you don't look like you belong here. And I was like, well, that was the inroad for me to tell my story. I lived in Canada, went to university, used to be a teacher for 3 years, got a green card because I fell in love with America, and the American, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, here I be, sitting in an auto body shop. But I'm in California. Anyway, he looked at me and he said, well, I have a client who, I'm an entertainment lawyer, and I have a client who's looking for an assistant. Would you ever think of being an assistant? And I remember my first thought was, as I looked at him, in my mind, an assistant? Why would I want to be an assistant? I have a Bachelor of Arts. I have a Bachelor of Education. I have a linguistics degree from Laval University. I'm fluent in French. Why would I want to be an assistant? And I said to myself, well, Janelle, look where your ass is planted right now. You're in an auto body shop. So I said, you know what? I'd love to be an assistant. I'd absolutely love to be an assistant. So the next day he called me on the phone. He said, look, I talked to my client. He's interested in meeting with you. And he used to be a big TV star back in his day, and now he's directing and producing. His name is Parker Stevenson. And I'm like, Parker Stevenson? Oh, I know who he is. He was on that show way back when. Good looking guy. So I was like, sure. I was like so excited to go meet him because I was just excited to meet Parker Stevenson. I never thought in a million years I was going to get the job. So I go in and meet this guy. Let me tell you, in person, his eyes are like piercing blue. And I was just like, woo, you know, I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. Anyway, I'm sitting in his office and he's like, you know, we're talking about my background, my past and everything. And he says, so, what do you know about the movie industry? And I said, I know that I like to watch movies and TV. And he started laughing hysterically, like, you know, okay. And I was completely honest during my whole interview, and he said, look, I said, look, I don't know anything about the movie industry, you know. And he said, look, I'm going through a really tough personal situation. He was going through a divorce, and he said, it's a very public divorce, and I just, I need someone kind around me. He said, you're smart, you're educated. He said, I can teach a smart person anything, but I cannot teach somebody kindness. And those words have always stuck with me. Anyway, I got the job. The next day, as I was like literally packing my little lunch to go to work, I got a call from the school division that all my paperwork had cleared and they wanted to know if I wanted to take a job in Watts. And I'm thinking, now I've been in California for a few months and I know I'm probably not going to survive teaching in Watts. Like, little me, like, it would have been too much of a stretch from Canada. Like, I would have not been, it would have not been good. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to open door number 2. I'm going to take the road less traveled. I'm going to try this new path and see where it leads. And he was like one of the best bosses I've ever had, Parker. I adored his kids. I was there for 3 years. I opened up a design company and designed all of his house. I worked on his projects. I learned about directing and producing and things I never knew that I would ever have the chance to learn about. And it opened a new world for me. So my message of this whole personal story I just told you is that you never know what life has for you. And you just have to be open and positive and not afraid of change. And right now, we are all terrified of all the changes going around us, right? Everything's out of control. You can't even sit indoors at a restaurant most of the time. So my message is, like, when you have those moments where you just want to curl up in a ball and cry, remember, your inner strength is the most important thing you have going for you. First of all, your health. If you have your health, knock on wood, you're so blessed. And then safety. If I have a roof over my head and I'm healthy, even with like my badly injured 3 muscle tears, plantar fasciitis, fractured foot, I'm still trying to do the best I can. So try to think about how you're going to come out of this as gracefully as you can. Like, start planting seeds right now, or thinking about other things you like to do. Like, if anybody told me like 5 years ago that I'd be spending a year of my life wearing a mask, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a year by the time this is over with. But I would learn how to cook fabulous meals, and I'd write 2 movies, and I would learn how to be by myself like all the time. And I'm a social butterfly. I would have said, go fuck yourself, it's never happening. You know what? You got to have that attitude. You just got to like try to find the silver lining playbook to every life, and always have the glass half full mentality. It's my life. It's not now or never, right? Bon Jovi saying it best. It's our life. It's now or never. You only have one go at it. Make it the best you can. And try not to be as much of a klutz as I am. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my story. I hope you get some positive inspiration from it. And that's all I'm going to say. I want to live while I'm alive. Oh, that wasn't a Richard Nixon thing, sorry. That's just me being goofy. Anyway, buenas noches.